Hey, 2020, welcome to our 2020 event on January 17th. We are so glad you guys could join us over Zoom. Unfortunately, we can't be in person to fill out the auditorium, but it's still great to be with us, even though it's through a screen. But it's just so important that we still engage in God and what He has planned for us, and just diving into the Word, as well as just being in a big community as young believers. I'm here with my friend Holly. Holly, how are you doing?
What up? I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great too. Yeah, so tonight we're going to be talking about myself and Christ, our daily walk. Just what it all means to have a Christ-centered life, some comforting words, because I feel like sometimes we can discern what it all entails of us, what we all have to do to be Christ-centered. So just jumping in right now, one of the passages in the Bible that came to mind was John 15. In the whole passage 1 to, 17? It just talks about the vine and the branches. I just love that, just because it just talks about how much we need to engage with Jesus, with God, and all that we do. It just helps. I just wanted to read just a few verses. I encourage you guys to read through the whole thing on your own time. So, starting in verse 4, remain in me, as I also remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. I am the vine, and you are the branches. If you remain in me, and I in you, I will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you do nothing. I just love hearing that, because it's it's kind of crazy to feel like if I do my own thing, is it holy? Is it what you desire? Is it just what you want in us? And jumping into verse 7, if you remain in me and my words remain in you, ask whatever and the wish will be done for you.
What a beautiful verse to start off with. And as we're talking about, me, myself, and Christ, and what it looks like, as we talk about practical ways to be living life with Christ and walking with Him, we're gonna dive into why we should be living a life with Christ and walking with Him. We're going to look at how that can unfold in little practical ways, and what a beautiful verse to start off with. So, one of the thoughts that came to my mind with that verse, as you shared, the idea of remaining in Christ and being with Him is such a beautiful picture. And I'm actually reading a book right now, and I'm going to read a quote from the author. She portrays this idea of remaining with Christ in such a beautiful way. And so this book called Beholding and Becoming: The Art of Everyday Worship, the author Ruth Simmons, she just unpacks what it means to live a life of everyday worship and walk with Christ. I'm going to dive into this quote and just unpack the idea of remaining with Christ. So Ruth says it this way: to remain is to look past the inconveniences, the faults, the unnecessary, and the less than ideal, and to say with feet planted and heart unwavering, I'm not going anywhere. What a beautiful picture of remaining. And then the next quote from her goes on to say, talking about Christ, He never forgets to send out the moon and the stars. He sees you in your ordinary, daily, mundane faithfulness and reminds you with the steady and consistent rhythms of the day, I'm not going anywhere. And how that comforts us and causes our hearts to worship. And what a beautiful picture that as Christ remains with us, we can remain with Him. And so for me, just a practical way that I've been learning to do this in my daily walk, it hasn't been an easy road, and I've definitely had to work at figuring out what works for me. But one of the ways that this picture of this quote, He never forgets to send out the moon and the stars, and He's thinking about me, and He is not going anywhere for me. One of the ways that I've been able to just practically learned this through my daily walk is just every morning when I wake up, I've been very purposeful about not spending time on my phone and just waking up, and instead, before I get ready for work, just spending a bit of time in the Word. And it's not a lot of time, and that's okay. I think that it's something to recognize that we have to find what works for us. And so the time that I do have in the morning, I just spend with Christ, and that's just a practical way that I've been able to just understand the idea that Christ remains with me and he's not going anywhere. And in turn, I can remain with him throughout each and every day of my life. So it's been a journey.
I appreciate what you shared. I love how you want to give that first moment in the morning, whether it's just a few seconds or a few minutes or however long it is at that day, whatever falls into your schedule. I just love that it just starts off your whole day. It just kickstarts it. It just puts like the first thing that happens like in your day, just to start off with a good positive attitude.
Corey, do you have any practical things, practical ways that you just go about your day, experience, the idea of Christ remaining with you?
I find something that helps with me is not necessarily having a full hour in the morning, but kind of have little things that happen throughout your day with Christ. Be like when you're walking somewhere to like the car or something, just say like a quick 30-second prayer for someone or about something, or simply as God, I want you to be with me today. I want you to shine your light in me today, and through me to people today.
In talking about walking with Christ on the daily and what that looks like and why we do that, I have a verse that I'd like to share that just kind of talks about, and for me, it just explains some of the reasons why I would want to be walking with Christ. And so I'm going to read from Proverbs 4, verse 20 to 23, and I'll just read those for you now. My son, give attention to my words. Incline your ear to my sayings. Do not let them depart from your eyes. Keep them in the midst of your heart, for they are life to those who find them, and health to all their flesh. Keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it springs the issues of life. And this verse to me has just been very encouraging. Just the idea that I want to walk with Christ. I want him in my daily life. And why do I want that? And it says right here that incline your ear, listen to what I have to say, for out of these words spring the issues of life. And they're life-giving. And I don't know about you, but that for me is just so encouraging and draws me closer. And so some of the things that I've noticed in my life is I shared with you some of my morning routine, and I've been doing that for several months in a row now, and it's a bit stretching. I'll be honest with you, it's not at all easy for me to wake up early in the morning, and it can feel a little bit uncomfortable. And I want to just encourage you guys that even in the uncomfortable feelings sometimes, I've been able to look back and see those good results and see the positive results of how I've been able to dive into the Word and have the words hidden in my heart. And I've recognized being a little bit more familiar with the Bible as like growing up, I have not been great at having daily devotions or reading the Bible regularly. And I just want to encourage you guys that I've noticed that as I've been taking the time and the uncomfortable moments of waking up early to put this in my heart, I've been able to notice that that life-giving. I've been able to notice that these words have been life-giving and have brought that positive spin on my days, and I've been able to just really dive into what God has for me every day. So I think it's been hard and challenging at times, and it's been so encouraging to look back and see the changes that are happening.
I really like the verses in Matthew 12, 34 or 35. Whatever's in your heart determines what you say. A good person produces good things from the treasury of a good heart. An evil person produces evil things from this treasury of an evil heart. This just like really goes to show show me like what you put into your heart will come out. Like it really clearly says that like you have to continuously be feeding your heart with the good, with the words in the Bible, with worship, with prayer and all that stuff, and just joy in your heart. And whatever you bring in will just flow out of you. I think that's just so important to go on through your day with that. One of the things I love to do is, like what I said at the start, don't just say one big prayer at the beginning of your day, but just say a little prayers throughout your day. Just keep reminding yourself how God is faithful, how God is good. Yeah, and just welcome him into your day with just constant prayer throughout the day at any time, whether you're experiencing joy, pain, suffering, whatever, happiness, just whatever comes into play, just thank him constantly for that and just bring him into that time.
We're going to dive into 1 John 4, and I'm going to read verses 9 to 11. In this, the love of God was manifested toward us, that God has sent his only begotten Son into the world, that we might live through him. In this is love, not that we loved God, but that he loved us and sent his Son to be the propitiation for our sins. Beloved, if God so loved us, we also ought to love one another. I just get so excited about that idea that how much love God has poured out. He sent his only Son for me and for you and for Corey. He sent his only Son. And how beautiful of a picture that he has loved us so much. And we can take that love and we can bless others with that love as well. And just putting that into my personal life, it encourages me to be seeking after him and to be abiding with him and to be spending time with him, because if he loves me so much, I want to be able to give that love to other people. And to do that, I need to be full. I need to be filled up. And so I get excited about wanting to spend time with him. I want to press into him, and I want to understand the love that he has for me, so that in turn I can then give that to other people. And what a beautiful picture. And I don't know about you, but I just get excited about that idea. I get excited about wanting to spend more time with him. And that's really helped as I've had this word and been hiding it in my heart. It's really helped me to get excited about wanting to spend time with him, and just find ways throughout my day to be diving in and to be ultimately learning more about his love, so that I can spread that to others as well.
Yeah, and in verses 16 and 17 it says, "And so we know and rely on the love he has for us. God is love. Whoever lives in love lives in God and God in them. This is how love is made complete among us, so that we will have confidence in the day of judgment. In this, the world, we are like Jesus." After reading that, it really is clear to me that without God, we don't have true love. We don't experience love the way how God intended it to be. We don't share love the right way. We don't love our neighbor. We don't love our family. We don't love like anyone that we come into contact without God's love.
So in wrapping up a lot of what we've talked about, we've unpacked a lot here, just talking about me, myself, and Christ, and just diving into what it looks like and why to be walking with Christ, and just having him part of your daily life. And so just wrapping up some of those thoughts there, I'm reminded of the hymn, "I Surrender All." And some of the words just really speak to my heart in this time that I've been learning and growing of how to walk with him. And so I'm going to just read the words. It says, "All to Jesus I surrender. All to him I freely give. I will ever love and trust him. In his presence daily live." Those words just really inspire me to just make that true, to be part of my daily life, and make that true to what my life is looking like on the daily. And yeah, I don't know about you, but when I think about walking with Christ and the love that he has for me, we've unpacked some of that love in his word. When I think about that love, it just inspires me to just go deeper. And so I leave that with you guys. We wanted to encourage you this evening. We wanted to take the time and, just express some of our heart we wanted to just share some of the things, some of the ways that we have been learning to walk with Christ every day. And as we don't, we're not perfect at it. We don't know exactly what to do all the time, but just some of the ways that we've been learning and how that's been shaping our heart for Jesus and our heart for just sowing that love into other people as well. We want to encourage you guys, think about ways, maybe just take some time this evening and just ask Jesus, like, hey, what are some ways that I could start, making you part of my day? And it doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be committing 2 hours of your day to him, or 2 hours all in one with him, but just ask him for little ways and little ideas to just be adding him to be part of your day. Keep that communication with him all through your day, whether that means you want to strengthen your prayer a little bit, or whether that means you want to dive into the Word. I know for me, it's only been maybe 20 minutes a morning, but so I just want to encourage you guys, think about some ways that you can be purposeful about your walk with Christ.
Just what Holly said, like, I encourage you just to dive into the Word, just dive into what the next step is with Christ, just diving into the heart with love and all that stuff. Our Christian walk isn't like a textbook. It has to be this way, this way, this way. All God is looking for is your heart and what you are, and like what you want to accomplish with him, and just dive into that. So.
I wanted to encourage you in that. Oh gosh, here we are, the end.